In Seattle getting sprayed, people getting busted up in New York and everywhere else. It's this militarization of our society. So the stuff creeps. It doesn't just stay behind the barbed wire. It doesn't stay on those military bases. That stuff creeps into our consciousness. It creeps into our society, and it becomes this kind of realm. And if any of you went down to Waikiki when we marched on the APEC the other week, yep. You saw that place. It was eerie. It was like the black wall, the military every 100 feet. You know there were snipers all around. The eyes were watching, and it was this eerie silence. Yeah, I mean that's, to me that's a sign of a kind of a creeping fascism that we really need to pay attention to. And so what some of the work that we do is we try to support communities that are struggling to resist militarization. And some of those places where there's been kipuka of resistance, these little islands of resistance, are places like Olave Island, right, where 20 years ago, people landed on the island, protested, lawsuits, and asserted their cultural practice and stopped the bombing of the island. So it's been 20 years since the island has had peace. It's a long process of healing. It's still not done, right? But it's begun. In Makua Valley, we've been protesting almost as long. And just yesterday, we had a makahiki ceremony. This is our 11th year of doing ceremony in the valley, behind the fence. We've been asserting this right to go in there and to do these practices to heal the land, to bring peace to our community. Yeah. Have been silent for 8 years because of the protests, because of legal challenges. We've been able to stop it. So it looks like there's no plans for the Army to resume training there, live fire training anyway. Right. And so we think we're on the cusp of making a change, which is great for Makua, but what's happening is the training shifting to the Big Island. So our brothers and sisters on the Big Island are fighting to protect Mauna Kea from the helicopter flyovers and the landings, the bombing that's going on in the plane there. If the military is a he'e in the Pacific, then Hawaii would be its head. And the brain would be up on Halava Heights overlooking the stadium. You have the Pacific Command Headquarters, Camp Smith. That would be the brain, and the networks of fiber optics are the nervous system of this he'e. The eyes and ears are the telescopes, the radar facilities, the sonar tracking devices on the bottom of the ocean off of Kauai. And the excrement, the waste of this he'e, is symbolized of what has become of Ke'awalau o Pu'uloa. Pearl Harbor is now a giant Superfund site. There are over 700 contaminated sites within that complex. You can't eat the fish, don't eat the crabs, don't eat the clams, right? So what was once just a rich food source, I mean, you can go and see them in the mud along the banks. You dig a little bit, you'll find layers of shells that tells you how abundant this resource was. These are the extinct Hawaiian oyster shells that they use for fish hooks and for ornaments. You can't find a live Hawaiian oyster anymore. It's extinct. And this place is now, I sit on a board that oversees some of the cleanup, and there's everything from dioxin and PCBs, which are cancer agents that accumulate up the food chain, to solvents. Perchloroethylene has leaked down to the groundwater in Aiea and is like zipping out into the harbor, right across the street from an elementary school and a church. And their method of remedy is what's called monitored natural attenuation. Guess what that means?
Do nothing.
Do that. Let nature take its course. We'll watch it.
Dilution is the solution.
That's what they say, but unfortunately, I don't know. It doesn't always work that way. So we keep fighting for the cleanup. You can't see some of these dangers that are in the toxic shadow of the basins, but they're there. And that's one of the impacts that we have is the environmental justice problem. Of course, there's threats to the environment, endangered species, native forests. All that stuff is true. Up in Makua, we have over 40 endangered species living in the mountain, and the forest has been decimated by over 250 fires have just wiped out the lowland, the dry forest, and it's only in the cliffs that you find the native species clinging to life, right? But also the environmental impacts on humans. And who are the people that live and rely on those resources is often Native Hawaiian, Filipino, Pacific Islanders, right? So some of the most marginal groups in Hawaii are subsisting on stuff from these toxic waters and toxic resources. But the AINA is resilient, and we are pushing for restoration. In places like Kaho'olawe, we're seeing it. In Makua, we're already seeing that the waters have come back in some places. In Waikane, on the windward side, the military took the land from the Kamaka family. They leased the land to train on. After World War II, they said we're going to return it in original condition. And instead, when all the bombs started showing up, they said, well, it's a little dangerous and kind of expensive. We're going to condemn the land, which means they just came in and took it.